The year 1800 was more than a date, it was a turning point. The old world of kings and empires was fading and new ideas about freedom and science were taking hold. In America, a young republic was finding its way. In Europe, a French general was reshaping the continent. Across the globe, people sensed both possibility and uncertainty. The echoes of the American and French revolutions still shook the world. The tension between revolution and order defined the era. From London's bustling ports to the muddy streets of Washington, change was everywhere. Inventions, music, and political decisions from this year would shape the modern world. It was a time of creativity and conflict, a true turning point. We look back at 1800 not as a distant date, but as a vibrant, pivotal moment. The people of that year were building a new world, often without realizing it. Their story is, in many ways, the foundation of our own. In France, Napoleon Bonaparte stood at the center of the storm. Having seized power as first consul, he held France's fate, and perhaps Europe's, in his hands. The nation, weary from revolution and war, craved both glory and peace. Napoleon promised both, and in 1800 set out to secure his legend. His greatest test came in Italy, where he led his army across the treacherous Alps to confront the Austrians. The soldiers, dragging cannons through snow and ice, surprised the enemy and set the stage for a decisive battle. On June 14th at Marengo, Napoleon's forces were nearly defeated, but with a last-minute counterattack, the French snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. This triumph solidified Napoleon's control over France. Later that year, a failed assassination attempt in Paris gave him the excuse to crush his political enemies. By year's end, Napoleon was more than a general. He was the undisputed master of France. His shadow now stretched across all of Europe. The world watched, uncertain if he was a savior or a tyrant. 1800 was the year Napoleon's destiny, and Europe's was set. The age of empires was giving way to the age of the individual. Across the Atlantic, the United States was making a bold statement. In 1800, the federal government moved to its new capital, Washington, D.C., a city of grand plans and muddy streets. The Library of Congress was founded, a humble beginning for what would become the world's largest library. The founders believed knowledge was essential for democracy. That year also saw a bitter presidential election between John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. The campaign was fierce, filled with personal attacks and wild accusations. The result was a tie, throwing the decision to the House of Representatives. After weeks of deadlock, Jefferson was finally elected. It was the first peaceful transfer of power between rival parties in modern history. Jefferson called it the Revolution of 1800, a victory for the will of the people. The young republic had proven its resilience. While America built a new nation, Britain was reshaping itself. After years of rebellion in Ireland, Prime Minister Pitt pushed for union. The Act of Union merged Great Britain and Ireland, creating the United Kingdom. A new flag, the Union Jack, symbolized this unity. Supporters hoped the union would bring stability and prosperity, but promises to grant rights to Irish Catholics were blocked, breeding resentment. For many Irish, the union felt like conquest, not partnership. The new United Kingdom became a global power, but its birth sowed seeds of future conflict. The act was meant to solve the Irish question, but instead, it began a long struggle for self-rule. 1800 marked both a new beginning and a new source of tension. 1800 was a year of scientific revolution. In Italy, Alessandro Volta created the first electric battery, the voltaic pile, ushering in the electrical age. For the first time, scientists had a steady source of electricity, opening new frontiers in science and technology. Meanwhile, in England, astronomer William Herschel discovered infrared radiation, proving there was light beyond what the eye could see. His work revealed the visible spectrum was just a small part of a much larger universe. Volta's battery and Herschel's discovery changed our understanding of nature. These breakthroughs showed the world was full of unseen forces and hidden wonders. The age of discovery was accelerating. Science was beginning to transform daily life. 1800 was not just about politics, it was about unlocking the secrets of the universe. Human curiosity was reshaping the world. In Vienna, a new sound echoed through concert halls. Ludwig van Beethoven, already a renowned pianist, premiered his first symphony in 1800. The music broke with tradition, opening with bold, unresolved chords. Beethoven's symphony was a declaration. The old rules no longer applied. He infused classical forms with energy and emotion, pushing boundaries. The premiere marked a turning point for music, and for Beethoven himself. His work became the soundtrack of an age of revolution. With his first symphony, Beethoven bridged classicism and romanticism. The sound of 1800 was the sound of a genius finding his voice. Music, like the world, was changing forever. Beyond Europe and America, the world was in upheaval. The transatlantic slave trade was at its height, fueling economies but inflicting immense suffering. Voices for abolition were growing, planting seeds for change. European empires expanded. Britain and India, the Dutch in Southeast Asia, driven by greed and ambition. Colonial rule sparked resistance as ideas of liberty spread to colonized lands. In Latin America, the grip of Spain and Portugal weakened and revolution brewed. Figures like Simon Bolivar watched and waited for their moment. The world was more connected than ever, but also deeply divided. Progress and oppression coexisted. The stage was set for the great global struggles of the 19th century. 1800 was a world in motion, restless, hopeful, and fraught with contradiction. As 1800 ended, the world was transformed. Napoleon's victory at Marengo redrew Europe's map. America proved democracy could survive fierce division. The United Kingdom emerged as a new global power. Volta's battery and Herschel's discoveries launched a technological revolution. Beethoven's music gave voice to a new era. These events were all connected, part of a great wave of change. 1800 stands as a landmark, the year nationalism, democracy, science, and individualism came into focus. The old world was giving way to the modern age. The story of 1800 is the story of our own beginnings.